Yo, in this video, I'm going to be ranking every single Drake song. Yes, all 208 of them. I will be including all of his solo album tracks, including So Far Gone, and if you're reading this, it's too late. I will not be including his collab albums, so no What a Time to Be Alive or Her Loss. I will not include no non-album singles, so basically anything that didn't make it onto an album is not going to be on here. No interludes or tracks that are titled as interludes. I will be giving a 2-second snippet of the song and a quick explanation to say how I feel about it and why it places where I placed it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we have Drake's worst song in my opinion, Ratchet Happy Birthday. This song is awful, it's some really corny lyrics on here as well, and the progression of it is just, it's very much not good. There's some parts that sound kind of too commercial and childish and but no, let's stop that. Jay did another song from Scorpio, definitely not great, not one of my favorites, and just very boring to me. It's also kind of cringe. Part of the reason why this song is on here actually is because when I was making this ranking, I kind of forgot to include it, and then I had to search through every one of his songs and find out what song I was missing. So yeah, no, this song, screw this song, no. Pretty boring song, not really much to say about it. It sucks that this is the Drake and Kanye West collab that we got because it's not good, it's a mess, it's all over the place, but yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with this song. I mean, I don't think it's that bad sometimes, but sometimes I just can't stand it. I guess this song isn't all that bad. The chorus isn't bad at all. It's actually okay, but it just gets too stale and boring for me. And we have the first song from Views. Yeah, not a great one in my opinion. Intoxicated. I was physically laughing when I heard this song for the first time. The bed squeaking sample is awful. I don't know how this song got so popular. That breakdown part is so bad. Busy as usual, but we shouldn't. Another song from Views that I just think is a bit boring. Drake raps in Spanish on this song. I think the less I say, the better. The next couple of songs on here, I kinda have nothing to say about them. I just find them to be really boring and never come back to them, so I'm gonna let them play. Here you go. I tell you, hear me out, but we both know it. I did say that I wouldn't include interludes on this list, but this isn't titled as an interlude, and it's a cool little instrumental, I guess, outro track. I don't love it, I don't hate it. It exists, I guess. It's an attempt at an overconfident and hype Drake song, but I feel like he's had way better songs like that. So yeah, that's why it places so low. We all know the DJ Academics clip. I don't need to say anymore. Out of any song that you can use a Chief Keef sample on, you pick this, one of your most boring songs. I mean, come on. Teasel does try to save it near the end, but no. Again, another run of tracks that I find boring, so here I'll go, take a listen to them, see where I place them. I don't really have anything to say. If you a gangster, then you gotta relate. She gotta fix you, kid. That knew you, this ain't high school. Bad writing on this song and a very boring trap track. I don't know what he was thinking with this. Party Next Door and Drake track that I don't enjoy. It's gonna be a running theme in this video, I think, so get ready. I don't think many of you will agree with me. As I said, it's gonna be a running theme in this video, back to back. I hate that I like SZA's part in here because Drake's part and Sexy Red's chorus are awful. I could see how this would work in certain settings, but I don't think it's for me. I don't really enjoy it. One of the most boring tracks from For All the Dogs. My criticism so far of these lower tracks has not been that they are necessarily bad, but just very boring. Kid Cudi Nothing is good about this song aside from the Michael Jackson feature, if you can call it, and even that is low quality.
Tell you now, I don't want you worried about whose house you...
Something about this song just feels off. I don't know what it is, but it just feels weird.
I guess we both go the same way. Girls want girls.
Some of the lyrics here, Drake should get jail time for them.
Remind me of
An outro of Drake, and it's one of his most boring ones.
moved off me, all to be with niggas who just started.
This beat sounds like it's trying too hard to be like something off of 808s and Heartbreak, and Drake's rapping here is kind of reminiscing of his older rapping, like on So Far Gone. It's not great.
Connections are heavy.
I think it's pretty clear consensus that this song is the worst song on Nothing Was the Same, and I'd agree.
We can find us again.
There are some moments that I don't necessarily hate on here, but the whole thing and the breakdown, I don't like it.
They be watching what they say, especially when it's...
Another couple of songs that I don't have a comment on, but they're not as bad as the first few. It's starting to pick up a bit.
On my mind all the time. Get the bars from anxiety's a drug that I use to get the job. Move on, you don't need no...
This instrumental is very interesting. That's all I'll say.
Cause I love that hoe, don't even make no sense.
Drake really doesn't do well over this instrumental. It's a bit too new school for him, I would say. You know, leave it to the kids.
No friends to ride, sticks on my dogs.
We're starting to get into songs that I don't necessarily hate as much. This has some auto-tune parts that I don't think are bad.
That's just how I think it's either you or me.
Very blatant attempt to get a #1 song and a hit, but hey, it worked.
Money in the cars
Now this is definitely a hot take. From what I know, people do like this song, and it's one of the deep cuts that people enjoy from Drake. And look, aside from this chorus, I don't really enjoy it. The chorus is decent though.
to me, cause you don't know.
This song and the next song are songs from So Far Gone that I think have a cool instrumental.
Places we get flown, parties that we thrown. I already hit her when you left her lonely.
Definitely starting to pick up now. Some interesting deliveries from Drake here, and even though I don't love this song, it is not bad at all.
Lean into me.
As far as Drake intros go, this is one of my least favorite Drake intros, but it's still an okay track. The Frack Ocean sample is fine.
You be the baddest girl around.
These next 3 or 4 tracks that I'm about to show you are songs that I think are inconsistent. Like, I think they have good elements, but as a whole song, it doesn't really work for me.
That's just a view from a cheap seat. Pouring out my soul and it might sound crazy. Lot of falling out as it stands. Everything is going.
You know how a couple of tracks ago I said that a track was trying to be too hard like 808s and Heartbreak? Well, this is trying to be too hard like 808s and Heartbreak, but it's not as bad.
That's that shit that I don't like. We both.
Another track from Views. It feels a bit empty to me compared to the other tracks from Views, so yeah, that's why it's lower on the list.
Naturally.
The beat on some of the song actually sounds pretty good. I just wish that Drake's vocals were mixed better.
In Miami in the house with me like they just...
I honestly think this song is a bit overrated. Don't get me wrong, it's fine, but is it really that good?
Please give me time cause I'm searching.
Some pretty cool vocals from Drake on Redemption.
And I'm just recording this shit. I'ma just give it to you.
Why does Drake sometimes randomly just add like a minute of a random intro into a song, or like halfway through the song he'll add an interlude or something? It kind of ruins it a little.
Crazy, sipping on Pink Floyd and Puff.
This beat is pretty cool. I like the synth.
I got everything. I could lose it all if I'm real.
It's not the most innovative or more interesting Drake song, but I guess I can see why someone would listen to it. It's fine. I like the feature on Unforgettable.
Back around, yeah, I better hit the ground, goddamn.
I haven't included many more live songs so far, but here is one of them. But honestly, even still, the drums on the song are pretty good.
Guess whose it is?
Own It is fine, but it's definitely one of the worst songs on Nothing Was the Same. I don't know if I really like the pitch down stuff. Cool feature here from Sampha, but other than that, I don't exactly love this song, but Sampha's feature is quite good.
Did I lose you?
The progression of the song is pretty cool.
Paranoia can start to turn into arrogance.
Title track from Views. I don't think it quite does the album justice. It's literally named after the album, but still, it's fine. I would say I quite enjoy this Lil Durk feature actually. It's my favorite part of the song.
Someone watching over us, so shot goes out to him.
Cool vocals on the song. I actually think the vocals on More Life are really underrated.
So my watch is on the other hand. She could try and play.
Decent rapping from Drake with a cool sample. The songs from Honestly Nevermind are starting to get a bit better. I like some elements of this track.
I cannot tell who is my friend.
Cool vibey track. I like it.
But the spotlight makes you nervous.
Definitely not one of my favorites from Thank Me Later, but it's still pretty decent.
When I'm in the nightclub, I just landed in that.
I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I think Drake out-raps Jay-Z on here.
Too sexy for this syrup.
I know a lot of you are gonna be mad at me for this and are gonna be telling me that this song should be lower, but just hear me out. I kinda like Drake and Future on here, and as corny as the sample is, the beat is kinda decent. It's not an amazing track, don't get me wrong, and it is kinda corny, but there's something about it that just makes me come back to it, whether that is the chorus or Drake's verse.
I show up knowing exactly who I was and never.
One of the more boring tracks from Nothing Was the Same.
Did it by myself, dog.
I kinda like his delivery on here. I think his melodies are pretty good. I really wish this song ended up being better than it is. I mean, look, it's a Drake and Young Thug collab. It has so much potential, but it ended up being just a bit above average for me. Nothing that I really love, but it's not too bad. I just wish it was more though. I remember there was a bar about XXXTentacion on here and people went absolutely crazy. People still somehow believe that Drake killed him. It's funny to me.
Plus this woman that I mess with unprotected.
The beat is pretty cool, I guess. It's like a signature older Drake track. On first listen, I hated this song. I don't know why, but yeah, the writing on here isn't amazing, but the beat is actually great.
I tried to change for you, but that wasn't who I am.
Decent writing with a cool instrumental. It's kind of a generic Drake track, if I'm being honest. It's nothing too crazy. It's a bit basic, but it's fine. This track could have been so much more. A Drake and Playboi Carti collab, but it is realistically underwhelming.
Friends in the industry, my brothers been my brothers, man.
Catchy chorus. Chief Keef carries Drake so hard on here. I wish his verse was longer.
Your flight clothes and you still make it even when they say.
A tribute to Say You Will by Kanye, and honestly, it's pretty good. Obviously not as good as Say You Will, but Drake does pretty well over the instrumental. Cool intro. It's mostly this high up because of the instrumental. I really like the melody.
I should have looked up in the sky at first. Now I can see.
Another more generic, older Drake track, but you can't really go wrong with it.
Let's go pound for pound, I'm a Youre. Grown hard, Cully, I had it.
Fire beat switch on here, and it sounds so rough and hard. I really like the second part of this song.
Houston women I wanna dine and take to the house.
One of Drake's most interesting instrumentals. It sounds spooky and weird, plus Drake's rapping on here is pretty good. Used to be one of my favorite Drake songs. It has gone down a bit on my list because I think it can get a bit obnoxious, but I still like it. I think Drake's auto-tune works really well here on the first part, but it gets a bit worse near the second part with 21's verse and the woman talking in the middle. What? A track that has heavily grew on me. I like how raw it is. And another track that's grown on me. I like Tizo's feature here, and the melody is really good. I like how loudly the piano is mixed. Finally, a song from If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. Another one of Drake's more generic trap kind of songs, but his vocals on here are decent. And compared to the last song, this is the better Future collab.
You fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh?
I really like the chorus, and it's just a fun song. The Adonis feature goes so crazy. Even though I have a few nitpicks with this song, I really like the first part because it builds up very well, and the second part is fine.
It's over, yeah, it's over, yeah, I'm leaving.
One of the worst songs, and if you're reading this, it's too late, but it still almost breaks into the top 100.
Cap on, brim, band,
a good instrumental with good rapping from Drake.
My wishes come true without blowing eyelashes.
And at 107, we have the first song from the timestamp series, 7 AM on Bridal Path. Great feature from Thames.
I'm outside in an AMG.
This sounds like a Drake song to me, but I can't exactly pinpoint which Drake song it reminds me of. But that aside, it's pretty good.
I ain't trying to chance it. I'll be with the band.
Good hype track from Drake and a really hard-hitting instrumental. One of the few tracks from Honestly Nevermind that I actually enjoy. The mix isn't great, but I think it kind of works with the song. As I said, some of you will be very mad at me for this take, but I don't think Drake and Party Next Door have made a great song. This, though, is probably the best Drake and Party Next Door song. This song would be higher if Drake just didn't shit all over it. Quite a nice instrumental, and it's pretty vibey. I like the feel of it. It's got a good rhythm to it. It's got a decent instrumental. Drake's auto-tune works surprisingly well. Good intro. Given the name, you would expect the song to be hype, and it is. British Drake will never not be slightly funny to me, but this is genuinely a good drill song.
Turn the 6 upside down, it's a 9 now.
So close to being 99 on the list, which would fit for the name, but barely misses out. Cool sample that, as you can hear at the start, and Drake's performance is great on here. Used to be one of my favorite Drake songs, but it's grown off of me massively. I still like it though. Very smooth and sensual track. For a Drake and J. Cole collab, it could be so much better, but still, good verses from both of them, and a cool sample. Finally, a song from Take Care, The Real Her at number 92. I don't think this is much of a hot take. Controversial Drake song because he did take the flow from Look at Me by XXXTentacion, but as much as I hate to admit it, I like it, and the gigs feature is good.
I've had too many nights to mention, that's just the beginning.
It serves as a good intro for Scorpion. Drake raps pretty well on here, and I like the little video game noise that's going on throughout the beat.
I'm just in a cut sitting sideways.
Honestly, one of my favorite Drake vocal performances. I think this is really underrated. It's one of the better songs off of Scorpion, and I never see it get talked about. Drake's melodic singing here is really good. It sounds smooth. One of the better verses from Views.
So what are you?
Hot take. In my opinion, the chorus of the song is the worst aspect of it. I don't necessarily love it. I mean, it's cool, but it isn't that catchy to me.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Watch shit don't never stop.
Another song that grew off of me, it used to be like top 20 Drake for me, which is crazy, but I still like it. The 808 is raw and it sounds evil, and it's just a hard-hitting banger.
I gotta start us up a support group.
Pantano said this is a top 10 Drake song. I couldn't agree less.
S-class, G-class, lot of class.
One of the better songs from Scorpion that got popular.
Aloha's to women with no ties to men.
A good closer to Thank Me Later.
Can't believe you told me it was ride or die.
This beat is honestly really good, and the chorus is catchy as well.
I go hard on Southside G. Wait.
This was gonna be lower on the list, but I reconsidered my choices, and you can't hate it, can you? It's a classic.
My uncle trying to change my energy with stones and crystals.
If he kept it slightly shorter, it would have been even higher up.
I get along better when you're friends.
Hate to say it, but I actually enjoy Ty Dolla $ign's contribution on here. If you don't know, I hate him. Great singing from Drake on a pretty simple song. I do wish it had a bit more progression to it, but there is no need.
First time in a long time.
And again, I hate to say it, but Chris Brown did well on here. If you don't know, I do not like Chris Brown.
I just thinking on it.
Definitely the song that grew the most on me from Honestly Nevermind. There is very slight progression to the song, which I think is nice. If you listen closely to it, you'll notice. There's different parts of it. Drake switches up his delivery here, and there's certain pockets that he finds with his flow, which is quite good. The auto-tune works really well, especially on some of his lower notes. And yeah, I think it's one of his most underrated tracks.
Nobody else is. Yeah, the ship alone and nobody.
I don't know if he quite does Wu-Tang Clan justice with this song, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I feel like this is what Honestly Nevermind should have been.
He's a no long talker.
Raw, aggressive, careless energy here from Drake, and a good gigs feature.
You a little 48 baby.
Definitely one of the most underrated songs from CLB. There is a beat switch here, which is great as well. Future does so well on the second part, but the first part is so good. There is a guitar, Drake sings over it. It's quite a dynamic track, and it's actually mixed well, which is a problem for CLB for me.
Late night when you need my
And same thing as God's Plan. You can't really hate it. It's a classic. But I would say I prefer it to God's Plan because there are some production elements that I like more. One of the most forgettable songs from If You're Reading This Is Too Late, but it's at number 70, so I don't think you can call it forgettable.
That's that shit like, oh. Breaking news, my niggas. If your girlfriend. No, I'm never gangbanging in my blue check.
This beat sounds so rich and luxurious, and of course you got the right person on this track, Rick Ross.
I've been pop whipping wrists on another rhythm.
Landed is mainly this high up because of the instrumental, but don't get me wrong, Drake does well on here as well. But the beat sounds so mysterious and it's kind of cloudy.
Became bigger, swerving right into my peers' lane.
From what I can recall, this is the first Drake and Lil Wayne collab, and it did not disappoint. Both of their verses are great, and this is an all-time Drake verse. I know I said I wouldn't include interludes, but this technically doesn't have interlude in the name, and the vocals are godly. Really smooth track. I love it.
July, that's when I found out.
July, that's when I found out you lied is such a Drake bar, but the outro of the song is good. Good writing from Drake.
You build it up to break it.
I don't know why this song isn't talked about more. I mean, I know it's basically just a Sampha interlude, but it's so good. Angelic vocals from Sampha, short and straight to the point.
Big cup of act, I'm drowsy.
And another track that I never see get talked about, but it's one of Drake's best vocal performances. And again, it's short and straight to the point.
Where I go, you go, brother, where you go, slide.
Conductor went off on this instrumental. One of the best Drake has had in a long time.
Show me a good time.
One of his most fun tracks, and one of his tracks that you can dance to. Really cool.
Free smoke, ay, free smoke.
I wish he did more with that intro sample, but he didn't. Still though, this is a legendary Drake intro.
You're not here, and we both know.
Sounds a bit intoxicated, and it's a vibey track. I like it.
Money for fun.
This song is only this high up because of Yeat. Drake does not contribute on here. Yeat though, he kills it.
You got the key to defeat it. I got the key to the war.
The melody on this track is legendary, and the features are also great.
We'll get her out of Houston, Atlanta, Vegas.
He's still trying to go for that kind of auto-tune robotic feel from 808s and Heartbreaks on his earlier music. It's very noticeable. But on this track, I feel like he kind of pulls it off. The chorus is catchy.
And that just didn't sit right.
The drums on here are popping.
These days, I don't know how to talk to you.
You know when you see Drake and Rihanna? Yeah, it's gonna be a good song.
Block twice like it ain't nowhere to park.
Really random switch up on the end of Honestly Nevermind. It goes from like house music to this. But hey, it's one of the best songs that he's put out recently. 21 kills it.
I got fake people showing fake love to me.
For some reason, this song and Portland are so similar to me. Like I associate them with the same thing. But I figured I actually kind of prefer this.
I'm managed by my friends that I grew up with.
One of the better timestamp tracks in his discography.
Now you're talking my language, now you're talking my language.
Underrated performance from Drake in my opinion. He does really well on here.
So just hold on, we're going home.
I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but Hold On We're Going Home is gonna place at number 48. Of course, I still like it, that's why it's so high up, but I think it would have been higher a couple of years ago, but I may have overplayed it for myself. It was my favorite song from Nothing Was the Same. It's safe to say that has changed, but this is still good.
On deposit, elevator up to the...
This song put Giveon on the map, and his performance here is just great. I mean, it's so catchy and good sounding. And I also like Drake's interpolation of Superman by Eminem, one of my favorite Eminem tracks.
If you want me, can't be turning up with everybody.
When talking about Drake and Travis Scott collabs, I honestly feel like this is underrated. This is up there with some of the best songs that they've done together. The beat is cool, there's a nice sample as well, and Drake turns it up on the second verse. It's way better than his first verse, and it's one of his best verses of recent times. And Travis Scott, well, he delivers a good feature. I usually find that I don't really like Travis Scott features, but on here, no, he does very well.
You look like you like this shit, how'd I know?
Honestly, I might have to make a video highlighting some of Drake's best rapping performances because his rapping is slept on, and it shows on this song.
I know things get hard, but girl, you got it, girl, you got it.
Yeah, maybe slightly corny, but look, it's Drake. What do you expect? I really like the chorus, and the Nicki feature is actually good.
I got no friends in this mama. I don't pretend with this mama.
What happened to this Drake? I don't see Drake rap like this anymore at all. He has really cool bars and a cool concept for this song, which we don't really see today in his music. I miss it.
I'm trying to let go of the past.
This chorus is so slept on. I feel like people focus on the song because of Drake's rapping, and don't get me wrong, it's very good, but this chorus is really slept on. I love the beat on the chorus.
House nights out in Calabasas, I could tell you not.
One of the most confident and hype sounding songs from If You're Reading This Is Too Late, which I think is the highlight of the album, that kind of feeling it gives you.
But it's going to be trusting my brothers is as strong as
I strongly recommend you watch a sample flip video on this song. There's one out there on YouTube because this sample flip is insane.
you boy just started.
Another track that I feel like is underrated, the instrumental here is so grimy and Drake sounds like he's the man, you know, he's so confident in himself, he's so full of himself, he's just talking shit on this song.
Shit is on steroids, I would never pass a physical.
I don't know what's going on with the mix on this song. I feel like in the first half of it, it sounds way worse, but as the song goes on, it picks up and sounds a bit better, a bit more clear. But other than that, it's a great song.
Like controller.
Great vocals from Drake, and I really love the little breakdown part that it goes into. Such a confidence-inducing song, and a highlight of it for me is the drums. They are so hard-hitting. I don't know if this is quite better than Sicko Mode, but considering Drake and Travis Scott collabs, this is definitely top 3 for me. It's an abstract song, which I didn't expect to say for Drake, but it's honestly really abstract and weird. Travis Scott's feature is also odd. There's a lot of weird vocals on there, and a rapping part as well. It's one of his most innovative songs, I feel like. I love the idea of taking the sample and using it as a chorus on here. It works really well. I can't be the only one thinking that this is a really sad song. It's so depressing.
20 million off the record just to off these records.
Come on, just off the first couple of lines, you already know that this song is a classic. One of his best intros for sure. And we go from one intro to another. Over My Dead Body is definitely very sad compared to Tuscan Leather, but I love it because of it.
I can't even capture the feeling I had at first.
This is up there with some of Drake's most underrated songs. I think it gets overshadowed because there are so many popular songs on Scorpion, but Emotionless is so good. The sample is one of the best Drake has had, and it sounds so uplifting and motivating. The drums help add to that, and it's some of the best rapping we have gotten from Drake.
My mama told me this was right for me.
This is mostly this high up because of the beat switch. I love when Drake raps over beats like this. And the first half is also not bad either. I mean, I love the chorus. Definitely one of his most slept on songs. It's very short, it's very simple and repetitive, I think. But there's something about it that just captures me. Maybe his delivery, it sounds quite nice on here. And maybe the runtime actually adds to me liking this song. It's really easy to replay and just re-listen. It has a lot of replayability.
I got high hopes for you niggas, we gon' see.
Classic. I don't think I have to say much about Energy. The name describes the song pretty well.
The contract like 91 Dan Marino. I swear
this is only this high up because of the first half, Pound Cake. The second half I'd never listened to, but I think me putting it at 26 despite that shows how good this is. One of his best instrumentals and a goated Jay-Z feature. And we have reached my favorite song from Scorpion. Number 25, Nice for What? Love the Lauryn Hill sample. I love the breakdown that it goes into. It's really nice production on here, which I wish I could say the same for the rest of Scorpion, but I can't.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
This ranks number 2 for me for Lil Wayne and Drake tracks. Let's see what number 1 is.
I said, tell me what's really going on.
I mean, can you really argue with this? It's a classic. Drake's rapping is so good, but Lil Wayne might have just out-rapped him on this song, which is insane. This is like a top 5 Drake verse, and Lil Wayne might have beaten it. One of the first Drake songs that I fell in love with. I think the auto-tune works really well on certain parts of this song, and the instrumental is one of Drake's most memorable. And Take Care, in my opinion, is the best Drake and Rihanna song that they have done together on a Drake album. I don't know if it's better than What's My Name, but that doesn't count, okay? It's on Rihanna's album.
Ass keep getting thicker than the plot does.
Can someone explain to me why The Weeknd in the early 2010s and whenever he's worked with Drake is like prime Michael Jackson? He's so good on here. He makes this song amazing.
Every time I hit
the best song on So Far Gone, and definitely one of Drake's most memorable tracks. I mean, it's one of his first hits, so...
Watch your motherfucking tone, boy.
This used to be my favorite Drake song ever, but it's safe to say it's gone down. Still though, 18 is very good. The rapping on here is great, and it's an energetic song. Wizkid, may God bless your soul, because you made this song absolutely amazing.
What's going down,
Some of Drake's best vocals in his whole career. What a smooth track.
On my worst behavior, no.
Worst Behavior cracks into the top 15, and this is definitely one of his most innovative tracks. It's weirdly dynamic, it progresses very slowly, but it's so good. The drums feel very clicky, but I like that. And Drake's energy on here is just something else.
But it's whatever if somebody won't make it a thing.
Lord Knows is such an iconic instrumental. The song sounds so luxurious. It's probably the most luxurious sounding Drake song, and he got the perfect feature for it, Rick Ross.
You believed in everything but me, girl, I don't get you.
I love the sequencing of Shot For Me on Take Care. I think it's such a nice follow-up to the intro. It makes the album go down a lot more smoothly. Definitely a needed track on Take Care.
I was running through the 6 with my walk.
When the beat switches, it is an out-of-body experience. It's some of the best production that Drake has had and one of the best segments of any Drake song ever. If you haven't heard it, please listen to this song.
You sit and you pray, hoping that the stars align.
Just outside the top 10 is Drake's second best intro in my opinion. Keep the Family Close is probably his most cinematic track, and I love how dynamic it is. Some of the best use of autotune Drake has had, really subtle but nice. Definitely the best song on Views.
You love me and I love you when your heart hurts my...
Breaking into the top 10, we have Look What You've Done. I asked this before, but where has this Drake gone? A song to his mom and his uncle, some of his best rapping, and a track that gets you invested. It's so well written. The Weeknd, ladies and gentlemen, he does it again. The Weeknd's and Drake's parts are totally different. Drake focuses more on rapping, while The Weeknd is weird and melodic. Some of the background vocals and vocal effects from The Weeknd on here are insane. Amazing song.
Oh yeah, that's right, I'm doing me.
Classic. How could this not have been in the top 10? As soon as I hear the strings at the start, I get hyped. So good. Very fun track, gives me the feeling of success and accomplishment, which is accompanied by the lyrics.
Can't change this shit set in stone.
The best Drake intro in my opinion. Legend's instrumental is really clean, and I love how it creates and I love how certain bits and details of the song slowly get added and then taken away. Really cool way for the song to progress. Drake has a great flow, and his melodic rapping / singing is amazing. Such a good way to open up. If you're reading this, it's too late.
Fuck that nigga.
Marvin's Room had to be up here. Was my favorite Drake song at one point, but it has come down to number 6 now. If you said that this is his most depressing song, I wouldn't really argue with you. It's Drake being very vulnerable and some of the best vocals in his career.
Passionate from miles away.
And Passion Fruit is also up there as some of his best vocals. Throughout the whole track, Drake does so well over a hypnotizing instrumental. I would say this is probably his smoothest song, so danceable as well as memorable.
I got it like that. Tuck my napkin in my
A top 3 Drake rapping performance on here. So many memorable lyrics. The flows that he uses and the flows that he switches between are so good, and it's an anthemic chorus. Up-tempo with smooth parts like the post-chorus. This is what I mean when I say I want the old Drake back. I'm gonna get into a bit more detail now as we get into the top 3 because I think these songs are literally perfect, so I really want to talk about why I like them. I've recently come to a realization about how good this track is. Jungle features one of his best samples, which is used so effectively. But that might not even be the best part of the track. The drums are the hardest hitting drums Drake has ever had. I think it's because of the snare and the kick paired up together, but god damn, it's so good. It goes on throughout the song with these very chill melodies, some going up and some going down, which works very well with Release Intention. The sample in the background goes through different effects, and Drake is just riding the beat so smooth.
You one day star, swear I told you that I'm in.
I said Jungle was one of his best uses of a sample because they wanted to include this too. The beat on Do Not Disturb is nothing complex or innovative, but it's such a good use of a sample over some crispy trap drums. I love the structure of the song as well. The vocal sample uses 3 different parts, I'm pretty sure, throughout the track, and there isn't a chorus. It's just one long verse from Drake with some pretty introspective bars. Drake demands attention on here. You listen to every word he says over an instrumental that just pulls you in, and he just lets it ride out at the end. A really nice touch, but not quite good enough to put it in number 1 for me. Cameras / Good Ones Go is, in my opinion, the best Drake song. It is his most underrated song and his most touching song, at least to me. I have a very personal connection with this song, so it was gonna be hard to beat it, and for me, it has to be number 1. To quickly sum it up, I love the contrast between the 2 halves. The first half has quick hi-hats with a really deep 808 paired up with a nice kick, and it really hypnotizes you. Drake's delivery works so well over it as well, sounding a bit flat, but it has a certain feel to it. And The Weeknd, I mean, what can I say? His background vocals just add an extra touch that hits you in the soul sometimes. And the second half half is Drake at his most vulnerable, I feel like. Complete switch up, but just as good as the first half. Some of Drake's most real, touching writing, including a nice break for The Weeknd to do his Magic Hat. Definitely Drake's most underrated song, an incredibly personal song to me, and that's why it's going to place at number 1. Cameras/Good Ones Go is the best Drake song, in my opinion. And that is gonna be my Drake list. Every Drake song ranked. Tell me what you guys think. What do you guys agree with? What do you disagree with? What do you think are my hot takes? And what do you think of my top 10? Because I feel like most people will only care about that. A lot of work went into this video, so please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. That will mean so much to me. It'll help push my video and my channel into the YouTube algorithm. I will keep doing more music content and other content related to Drake. I'm gonna have a couple of videos related to Drake that are gonna be coming out. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace!